Uh-oh. What's going on? What's going on? Let me give some time for people to log on. Let's see. Drop questions now. Okay. I think, did I do it? What's up, y'all? Let me pin that comment. Let me scoot this over a little bit. I don't think I've ever gone live during the day like this. Here we go. Here we go. There we are. What's going on, everybody? So I'm going live during the day because I had time. Okay. I've been a busy girl this morning. If you saw me this morning, I was on Amazon Live with live stream. We had coffee and cocoa with Kat. That's CCK, not KKK. Okay. That was fun. I overdosed on caffeine on accident. I was hella hype. If you want to see that, you can go to my Instagram stories and see that tag Orca live stream and check out the live. Well, it's not live anymore, but the recording there. I'm drinking out of my straws. I featured my straws this morning and my ball jars. It was awesome. But I had time this morning or today to go live. The internet is tripping on my iPad. To answer some questions. And hello Nina, how you doing? Let me see here. My poor, there we go. My poor iPad is not getting a good connection. I'm gonna have to start that over again. We'll see. What's up, y'all? What's up? Can you guys hear me? Let me know. So I always get DMs from people asking questions. As you guys know, what's going on, y'all? As you know, I am a life coach. I have actual live clients that I've had for years. Some people are new; they just started working with me this year. Keeps freezing. Okay, Mercedes, let me know if it's working all right. And so I don't think I've ever done this. So I figure, hey, I'll pick a day during the week and go live and answer some quick questions just to give you guys an idea of what it's like to work with me, right? So I got a DM. I'm going to kind of read it. I'm not going to put the person on blast to ask for some advice, and I'm going to go, right? Give you some answers. I hope y'all doing all right this Monday morning. Okay. Turn it down. I don't need y'all. Okay. So Catherine, all right. I'm trying to say it so I don't blast this person. You know what I'm saying? Basically, this person is dealing with a relationship that they are in, and in that relationship, they're dealing with issues, and they want to know, how do you know when it's time to go or when you need to keep fighting? I guess, right? Here's my advice. One, you got to always remember, before I can give you advice, be very aware of who you asking advice of, right? I am never going to be the person to encourage you to cheat. That's not my demeanor. That's not my character. That ain't me. And y'all know that, right? So if you're asking me, you're one, aware that I'm gonna give you a real answer, okay? And you're very, and if you see me going back and forth, I have an iPad and I have another streaming device because I'm on YouTube Live and I'm on Instagram Live. So you know I'm going to give you the real, and I'm going to give it to you from my perspective and my experience, right? Concerning relationships and how I see them. So you got to understand that. There's that. This person's in a relationship and they're asking, like, Kat, how do I know when it's time to leave, or if I just need to dig in and fight some more? And there's a couple things you need to look for when you are, attempting to seek an answer for that question. Number one, who are you? One of the things I do with my clients, we very rarely sit and talk about the flaws of somebody else. I might ask you questions, but we always gonna bring it back to you, because that's not the person I'm trying to help heal. It's you. So if you're asking me, Kat, how do I know if it's time to leave somebody? Before we can even get to the relationship, let's talk about you. There's a lot of people that's watching right now who changed in this last 12 months. And we ain't even got to mention coronavirus, because every year you're changing. But people don't realize you are a living, breathing live human organism. You're not this cell phone, you're not this piece that I use on my computer. You're not none of those things, right? So if you are alive, you're forever changing and growing. You're forever extracting information and knowledge from external, situations and circumstances that's affecting who you are in that moment. Like, this is real time. Who are you? What do you want? What's up, y'all? What's up? I think one of my biggest pet peeves with people are people having the idea that they are the same forever. This is who I am. I've always been like this. No, you're constantly changing. Whether or not you want to accept them changes is another story. So who are you and what do you want? Do you want to be in a relationship? Right? Or do you want to be single? Because sometimes we do the opposite. We start with the opposite, which is, hey, what you want to do? Because you haven't made up in your mind what's good for you. So if you're asked, so this person asked me, how do you know when it's time to leave versus when it's time to stay and dig in, and fight? Well, what do you want? Who is you right now? In this situation, are you tired? Do you need to be alone? And you afraid to be alone? Are you hurt? And therefore you are the dysfunctional, trauma-filled person in the relationship that's causing all type of turmoil? Who are you right now? What do you want? So there's that. Number 2 is, once you figure that out, so let's just say this person said, okay, Kat, I want to stay. And I'm not vulnerable enough to tell this person that. I really want to be with this person, but they're making it so hard. I feel like most of the problems come from this person, right? Or I don't trust this person, or I don't know if they love me, or whatever it is that you, whatever, right? But I want to stay with this person. Well, now it's time to count the costs. One of the things I see that is hard for people to do in this day and age is to make up in your mind what you want based on logical facts that are right in front of you. When I got with your uncle, now when I always mention your uncle, I mean Lance Branchman, my husband, because I'm your auntie, right? Okay. When I got with your uncle, I was very young. Okay. I was very, very young. I was about 18 when I first met him, 18 and a half, going on 19. And I didn't know nothing about, finding out people's positive character traits. Okay, when I saw your uncle, he was fine as wine. Okay, glistening all in the sun. He made me blush. Name near child. Okay, just handsome. But what I did understand was there were some things that I just could not deal with. They were non-negotiables, right? They were terms and conditions in my metaphorical contract. I know it sounds hella fake and deep, but this is how it was. Okay, I just cussed more, but I still thought like this. I couldn't deal with no pervert. I couldn't be or deal with no man or no boy who was just nasty, like perverted, like. Like, I'll tell y'all a quick story because there ain't a lot of people on here, so y'all get the good stuff. One day a guy took me on a date, and I was in the South. So in the South, there's like trees and woods and stuff. I'm a city girl, so I ain't know nothing about this. Anyway, I hope there ain't no kids watching because they don't need to hear this part. Anyway, he took me on a date, and we went and got something to eat, and then he like drove me in the woods. And I was like, I'm from Long Beach. We don't have the woods. So maybe we about to do something romantic, like talk and listen to jazz. He turned the car off, unzipped his pants, and exposed himself. He had an erection. Now, at the time, he didn't know this. I was a virgin. So I was like sitting in the passenger seat, and he was like, what's up? What you gonna do? I was so appalled. I grabbed onto, you know how you get out the car, that little handle part? I grabbed onto that and held on, like, and I just went into shock. And I think at that moment, yes, it was a first date. Yes. We had knew each other like around campus. He was like, you want to go out with me? I was like, okay, for sure. But that lets you know what other girls was doing because he expected something to happen. So anyway, I froze up. I was like, get me. I didn't even say anything. I was so terrified. Crazy, right? Anyway, never dated him again. Ever. And I knew that there was no type of negotiation with him. There was no, why did you do that? That was crazy. As competent and articulate and intelligent as I was, there's nothing for us to talk about, sir. We and that was at 18. So the reason why your auntie's telling you this story is because I want you to know early on these were traits that helped me accomplish a relationship that I'm currently, living in right now, which is I know what's not for me. Perverted stuff was not for me. Another thing wasn't for me was disrespect. There's no way. And here's the crazy part. Can I be honest with y'all? I was hella disrespectful. I had a very bad mouth and I would curse at my boyfriends or people I was dating. It was really, really bad. Anyway, the point is I couldn't handle him doing it to me. Oh, ain't no way. So going back to this person who's asking me, Kat, should I stay? Should I go? You got to be very, very clear on what's just not for you. There are some of y'all who are in situations, friendships, relationships with people who do things that you keep trying to figure out if it's you, if you tripping, if you being too bougie, if you being too hard on yourself, if you just need to forgive them. You know, God forgave you. Like you're trying to negotiate in your mind and reason, but it's a reason why it bothers you because there are just some things that are not for you. Now, let's take the extreme stuff off the table, right? Oh yeah, I hit a nerve. Okay, well you're in the right place. Okay, so now let's move on. Okay, Kat, I'm in a friendship or relationship. It ain't that bad, girl. They ain't doing perverted stuff or they're not disrespecting me. But I'm kind of tired of arguing with this person, and it just seems like they don't want to commit or they don't want to get married or we just can't seem to go for long periods of time where we vibing like it's always something. So now we come to the real work. And if I was your life coach, this is where I would start to peel off the layers. And when you work with me, if I ask you a question, baby, I already know the answer. But it's very important that you say it. I just want to give you that. If you ever worked with me, I'm asking you. It's like Junior will come ask me something, and me and Big Lance have taught him. If we asking you, we already know. So you got a choice. You can lie, but I already know. The arguing and the constant quarreling that people do oftentimes it never penetrates past the surface. What am I saying? What I'm saying is oftentimes you will see and experience small things that can cause a rift and there is really a root issue. Just tell me. There's a root issue. Here's a perfect example. I'm at home with my boo or my bae, okay, and he slams the cabinet or he keeps leaving his shoes. And it's like the straw that broke the camel's back and you ready to explode. I'm tired of you. You don't never clean up, but you always talk about me. You're not arguing about shoes in the living room. Or your homegirl, she hits you up and she rants and rants and rants. And finally you say, you know what? Well, dang girl, you always thinking of somebody else, but you ain't ever thought it was you. Wow, that you ain't got my back. You ain't never had my back. It's not about that. There are underlying issues in relationships that most people either don't have the mental ingenuity or strength to take on head on, right? They don't have a mediator to help communicate, right? Here's you get on my nerve. What I heard you say was me and my mama could kiss your ass. Like, whoa, that's not what I said, but you so messed up. That's what you heard. So sometimes people need a mediator, and sometimes people are just afraid to say what they really mean and feel because you ain't sit with yourself long enough to even figure out what you're trying to say, what you want, or what you want that person to understand about you. So going back to this, somebody asked me, should I stay, Kat, with this person? Should I leave this person or this friendship? And I'm just giving you tips as your auntie life coach, what you should do. And you got to figure out, like, what do you want, where you want to be, what your non-negotiables are in your terms and conditions, and dealing with a relationship. Like, if you arguing constantly and you doing this constantly, what are y'all really arguing about? For some people who watching this, you really just tired, but you too afraid to be with yourself. So you'd rather be miserable for the next 15 to 20 years rather than to sit and be by yourself. Now, I know there might be somebody saying, like, well, Kat, it's easy for you to say, okay? You got Uncle Lance there with you. Who wants to be by themselves in the time of quarantine? I offer you the idea of the longevity of life to say you're not going to be by yourself forever. Let me give it to you because one of the things I do, I'm very empathetic. Sometimes I tell too much of my business, but let me give it to you so you can understand. I'm not going to be in this apartment forever. It feels like it sometimes. Sometimes I have spiritual and physical temper tantrums with God sometimes about where I am and what I want. But there is something in me. I'm like that 90s, 80s baby Disney kid who just know the magic is real. And one day it'll be my turn. I hold on to that. The mustard seed of faith, right? Come on, Gates. So with that being said, I offer that to the person who's looking for that relationship. You ain't finna be alone forever. He don't even operate like that. He don't even work like that. The only way God's will can be manifested in the earth is if he partners with us to help bring to fruition, because he ain't down here doing it, which means he got to use us, which means that there are fruits of your loins that have to come to pass, meaning you have to have children or spiritual children that you impart on. So with that being said, like, you're probably gonna have somebody, but in your current state, could you even hold on to that relationship? Could you hold on to that friendship where it helped you and them grow and become the next level in whatever it is that your life has for you? So maybe I'm getting too deep for some people, and forgive me. And if I am, this ain't for you. For other people, you hear exactly what I'm saying. You hear exactly what I'm saying. So when it comes to friendships, relationships, Kat, how do I know if I'm ready to go? My dude, what do you want to do? Who are you? Don't even answer the question, do you want the relationship? Who are you right now? I know who I am right now. I held on to a long relationship for 2.5 years because of the mindset. Child, the man wasn't even physically in my presence. And let me tell you, this is just discernment. Let me just give you discernment. Gates, Mercedes, and anybody else who watches after I get off this live, let me give y'all a little tip on how the enemy gets you, right? Think about a pair of shoes, right? If I get a pair of shoes from Target versus a pair of shoes, like a pair of steel-toe work boots, if I give those steel-toe work boots to somebody who don't take care of them, the boots gonna last because of how they was made. Oh, come on, I'm gonna drop that word on you. It has nothing to do, or it's not a reflection of the person. That's just how they were made. That's how they function. They hang in, they're durable, they sturdy, they hold on. Some of us are steel-toe work boots. Some of us women who are watching, we just was on a genetic level, okay, on a spiritual level. We was created to love and to support and to help. And sometimes along the way, we made a choice about who was going to get to rock with us as steel-toe work boots, right? And the enemy will try to convince you that you are less than, or you are stupid, or it's your fault, that you keep wanting to hang on and hold on. But really, that is your spiritual gift at work, sometime in overdrive with the wrong person. It's the same idea at being at a job that don't appreciate you, and you keep trying to prove to them you're valuable and you are smart and you are worth the promotion. But really, wherever you got put you would thrive. I'm gonna read that, Ebony. I'm gonna get back to you, sis. Yes, you gonna thrive. It ain't a reflection of them. That's how he made you. But you ain't in the right situation, and it ain't your season. So going back to what Mercedes and what Gates is talking about, Jasmine, that's she know who I'm talking to. You don't beat yourself up thinking I stayed too long and I did too much. You are operating with the gifting that he gave you. It was an overdrive, and you was in the wrong situation. So, and that's why when I hear people say, you know what, I just want to be reckless, or I just want to be, you ain't even got the gumption to try to be that type of cold-hearted person, because cold-hearted people don't even know they cold-hearted. That's just how they are. You can always tell somebody soft, so they say stuff like, see, ooh, watch, like, I'm done with people, like, I'm just finna start being, no, you ain't. You gonna cry in the car. We do need to talk about this, girl. Listen, I don't know if you want to tell your business or not. We could go live right now. Sis got time, okay? You ain't cold-hearted. Your feelings hurt, and you throwing a temper tantrum. Get it out your system. Purge, right? Ebony said the problem is some people claim not to believe in anything bigger than themselves and don't know how to hold on to the idea of life longevity. And you know what? And I think that's one of the reasons why people, they question me sometimes on DM, and I have a conversation about like God and Jesus and stuff like that. And I'm like, listen, as dope as I think I am, I have had conversations with an entity that is talking to me that gets me every time. This voice is 10 for 10. I never have one up over this voice or whatever this dialogue is going on with me. So if it was me, the score should be even, right? It should be 5 that voice and then 5 me if that voice is me. But I'm telling you, God stay humbling me, and I be like, "Ew." So to me, that's my experience. Whatever, But yeah, like, and also there is a false humility. A lot of people are walking in where they think they hella humble, but you not. It's just pride shrouded in pretty clothes and glitter, baby. That's pride. That ain't humility. But anyway. I ain't gonna get into that. So, right, I was telling my godmother I'm about to be a city girl. You ain't. You gonna cry in the car. You might get to the club and pop a little bit. You might get a little boo. You might do a little something on the side, and then because we the type of women that will sit and cry. We ain't built like that. We ain't built like that. You can play that game, and God will release you over to what you want to do. But all that trying to pretend like you hard, it's not. You're not. I'm a killer. I have the capacity to kill. Why I'm saying that because I believe everybody got the capacity to kill. I don't have the capacity to get away with it. I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. I went to the I'm an open book, but I can't right now. I gotta tutor a few. Okay, no problem. I went to the doctor yesterday. Today is Tuesday. Today is Monday. I don't know what day it is. Today's Monday. I went to the doctor on Friday. And long story short, I was the first one to check in, and then 10 people checked in after me. All 10 of those people went in before me. So I got pissed, and I was like, hey, yo, I got a 2-month-old out here. I'm in here trying to see what's going on with something. What's up? Oh, they're going to call you. Didn't call me. Everybody who came in after me got called. I said, that's it. I said, let me speak to your charge nurse. Because a nurse came out, was like, oh, I'm going to call you. But she got upset at me that I called her out. I was like, excuse me, you were supposed to call me. What's going on? Oh, I'm going to get to you. I said, you got the right one. Oh, baby, you got the right one. Cool. Let me speak to your charge nurse. Charge nurse came out, a little white lady. Oh, child, she was so sweet. What's going on, man? So me being emotional, being loud, basically told her what happened. I was upset. I need to be seen. I have a 2-month-old. It's COVID. Like, I just pleaded my case. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. When we got to the back, the nurse who had ignored me tried to come in and take my vitals. I said, I don't think you're going to be able to treat me. We either going to talk about it or you can go get somebody else. I said, I don't feel comfortable with you. You hurt my feelings. You ignored me. And now you're in here to treat me. I don't want you nowhere near my chart. And I'm like almost in tears, big bad cat. And, the lady, we ended up having a conversation. We had a whole sip and chat before she touched me. And she ended up saying, I have a daughter too, a 7-month-old. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking, blah, 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 blah. And I think as a nurse, because I've seen people do this where you try to punish somebody for saying something or calling the manager on you. So you try to punish them. You got the right one today. So we end up having a talk. I said, okay, girl. I said, because listen, I was like, there's no way you're going to treat me and I don't trust you. I'm mad at you right now. So how could you take my blood pressure? So we talked it out and I was like, okay, girl, we cool now. On the way out, I told the chargers, I said, forgive me for my frustration and appreciate you doing your job. Like, I have the capacity to hurt somebody over my kids. Like, I kill you over my kids. But I'm also going to cry in the car. And that's all I'm telling y'all. Will you release, and we'll release, and we'll be all torn up. Yes. And we'll release, and we'll release you over to what you want to do. He surely will. As stubborn children of God know about that. I sure do. The Lord stay releasing me. Kathy, I struggle setting goals and keeping structure. What do you think I should do? Number one, forgive yourself. I think that's something that we don't practice enough. We don't give ourselves any. If I got on here and said, "Hey y'all, I got some goals I'm trying to meet and I ain't really reached them," and I don't know, y'all, I'm a terrible mother. Y'all would flood these comments with encouragement and inspiration to keep me going. But we are not like that for ourselves. Ain't that sad? So I would say, Princess, like the first thing is give yourself some grace and some mercy concerning what it is you're trying to do. The other thing is, I think people have to realize that everything is in season. The perfect example is exactly what's going on right now in front of you. For almost 2 months, what I'm saying, I was trying to work at this job, thinking that was what I needed to do. Until finally I got fed up, I took a leap of faith and I quit. And now in one day, I think I've produced almost 4 pieces of content, from live streams to podcasts to YouTubes. I mean, and all like by lunchtime, you know what I'm saying? Because I now have the energy and I'm in the season or the space to produce. So if anybody is ever trying to set a goal and achieve it, be very aware of where you are. Is it even the season for that? Sometimes we're motivated by external circumstances in somebody else's life. You done been on Instagram too long. You see people, 24, got my first house, praise God. I hate those posts. I hate them. I hate them because it doesn't show the whole struggle. Oh, I hate those posts. Hey, what's going on? And it's very important that you see things in its entirety, right? Completely. Setting goals is also like unless you're working with somebody and you're really, really, really serious about understanding yourself, sometimes you'll set a goal that ain't even what you mean. I want to be debt free by, this time next year. Well, do you really want to be debt free? Why do you want to be debt free? Well, if I'm debt free, then I could get, a car loan, or I can get a house. Or like what's the purpose of being debt free? All my other friends is debt free and I just feel like I'm behind. Like, oh, I want to finish school by such and such and such. Okay, why? Well, I'm the only one left that has it. Or I want to be done with, I want to have 2 degrees by the age of 25. Why? Oh, because like I just want to be the youngest person in my family. Why? It will make me feel better than other people. Like, some of y'all need to reevaluate your goals. I mean, not you, princess, but I'm just saying yeah, and everybody else. I had my first lady rip me apart one time on a retreat. I was telling her like my goals, and she was like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Girl, what you mean? Like, what you mean?" She's like, "Well, why do you want to do this, and this?" And I was like, "Because like I'll be the first one in my family, and blah blah blah. I want to be Dr. Catherine Brenchman." She said, "Who's at your finish line?" I said, "What you talking about, girl?" She's like, "Your metaphorical finish line. Like there's a goal, and the goal is like a race. So if the goal was the finish line, who's there cheering you on and being proud of you, or who was there that you want to make look stupid?" I was like, "Oh, changed everything." It slowed me down completely. Shout out to Lady M. So I encourage you that if you're watching this and you are dealing with what Princess is dealing with, which is, Cat, how do I set goals and meet them? Who are you right now? Go back to the goal and peel off the layers of the goal. Like, if you don't mind sharing, Princess, if you're still here, what's your goal? What's the goal? What's the goal? Because we oftentimes don't realize there's a goal every month we all have. Pay your rent. We figure that out, don't we? It's real simple. Straight to the cut. Straight. What is it? Cut to the chase. Straightforward. Pay my bit, and every month we do it, don't we? I got to pay the rent. But then when it comes to something else that has to do with self-improvement, there's all this other stuff. Well, why do you want to do that right now to finish the assignment by midnight? And I bet you're going to do it. Listen, let me tell you something I let go of. I'm a procrastinator. With my undergrad in high school, with my master's degree, there's nothing. Listen, that's just how I operate. Some of my best papers have come due at 8 in the morning, and I'm up at 4:30. Like, okay, let me get this paper done. That's just how I operate. You're going to get the assignment done. So the real question is, why am I a procrastinator? Because you're going to get it done. And even if it's late, you probably still will manipulate and maneuver your situation into a way where you could still turn it in. Because you're smart. Sometimes we're too smart for our own good. Right? So I think the other thing is, like, you going to work, trying to pay your bills. I think you work with the public. You deal with a lot of energy and spirit interaction. And that's a whole nother live. I won't be on here too long. But there's a lot of heavy stuff that's on you when you work with the public that you take home. And then you be thinking, why can't I just do this paper? Because you got to work through all that. You got to take all that off. You could take a shower and pay all the Kim and Jazz you want to. But a lot of that is on you when you work with the public. So unless you keep yourself isolated and protected, it's hard to do what you have to do when you try it so much anyway. But yeah, I'm just on here. Drop your questions. I hope I'm helping some of y'all out. December, I'm getting my stuff together for January as far as what I want to do. I really encourage y'all to, I'll be taking 3 to 4 showers a day. Yeah, you try to clean, but you got to find another way to purge. Because if you're taking that many showers, there is something else that you're trying to address, spiritually, and you're doing it in the physical. It ain't gonna work. It don't transcend. Ooh, ooh. We need to do some spirit work. And when I say we, I mean me too, right? Because their libation is there's some strength in water and some meaning and some symbolism behind it. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes there is some spirit work, there is some shadow work that has to be done that we are not either ready to do or we don't even know we have to do. And we be trying to. That's why some of us eating crazy. Oh, do we want to get into that? I know I got like 30 pounds to lose. Eating crazy, right? You're a really sharp shooter, my guy. Shot top. Shot top, baby. I speak it good because I done walked it. I done walked it out. I am telling y'all, we are eating crazy because a lot of us have never experienced this type of spiritual warfare, this type of spiritual obstacle course, this type of spiritual energy exchange that is going on via the internet, because this is a whole nother medium that there's no precedent for. Like, we're living it out real time to figure out how to deal with it, as well as like spiritually, like interacting with people. And I think COVID is a great analogy. Rest in peace to people who have died from it. You know what I'm saying? For how spiritual diseases and sicknesses and just emotional turmoil is like can rip you apart when you just out with anybody doing anything. Westside walking out. Hey, I will rap that, but I gotta stay focused. Right? I'm like, Lord, what's going on? You sending us into a praise break. I'm telling you, I wish I had an organ. Let me tell you, I shouldn't say this because now God gonna probably put me in the church. I can't preach the word because I come from a church where my pastor taught if the church is quiet, you're ripping them up. All that hooping and hollering, they agreeing too much. you ain't cutting nobody. So that's gonna scare me. And then two, I'm still trying to get broke from the change of cussing. I don't want cussing nobody at church. I love when you speak, you be speaking a good word. Thank you. Y'all my people. Okay, listen, let me give y'all this real quick and I'll go. Okay, this is for the people who stayed this long. Something that I'm learning as I get older, and this might be a little bit too unorthodox for some people. It is my belief, though, that everything that's in the Bible is from God. Yeah. We get that. We acknowledge that. We do understand that people have tampered with the word, right? We know, I get it. But I have a real relationship with the divine. And he is bringing me into some knowledge that is blowing my mind, just dealing with energy, dealing with spirits, dealing with people, dealing with the desires of my heart I thought I wanted. And here's an example. This is soft. I'm gonna give this to you. I ain't gonna give you the hard stuff. The hard stuff, I'm gonna have to make a private Zoom and we'll talk about some stuff. I'm talking about like spirits. Like I'm catching stuff on camera at my house. Demons. Anyway, listen. When I was in high school, I remember my senior year, my teacher said, I want everybody to write down like your dream and your biggest fear. And I can't remember what the biggest dream was, but my biggest fear, I remember writing down, my biggest fear is to have, my biggest fear is that one day I grow up and I have a house with a husband and kids, and my whole life is dedicated to just raising them and being a wife, because I have too many, I'm too talented to just be somebody's wife or somebody's mother. My dream was probably along the line of someone being rich and famous, blah, blah, blah. And child, when I tell you all I want to do, Jesus, is to raise my kids, be a good mom and a good wife. So let me bring the two together so you can understand. What I'm saying, what I said before I told that story was God is bringing me, I'm going to make eye segments, into some stuff that's not in the Bible. I'm not saying he's bringing me into like scripture that's not in the Bible. What I'm saying is like there are some, like there's no mention of social media in the Bible, but it's here. But there are principles attached to this because his word is everlasting. You feel me? Come on. Oh, my best friend. My best friend entered the chat. Okay. Guns is out now. So he's bringing, we got to find a way to connect it to, right? So there's that idea. And then he's bringing back to my mind things that I've said and things that I've done that are just like, oh, snap, I said that. So now it's making me say, what did the enemy set up in my life to make me think that at 17 years old? Because I graduated at 17. I graduated at 17 years old. So at 17 years old, there was something he was able to do in my life to make me think that having a husband and kids was the worst thing that could happen to me. But God had the forethought and already knew I would be somebody's wife and mother. I said husband and wife, and I meant wife and mother. So he was able to work something on me so early on that by the time I got to 18, before I went to college, he manipulated me into believing that was the worst thing that I could do in my life, was waste my life with children and a husband. And now I'm like, thank you, Lord, for this. I thank him every day for it. So the reason why I am bringing this to you guys is because it has allowed me to slow down the game clock and look as he gives me insight about spirits and angels and demons and people and situations and seasons. As I'm trying to understand my gift and understand where I'm going, I'm trying to also be very aware that there has been this game at play. Come on, come on, come on, follow me, to make me feel the way I feel about the things that I feel strongly about. What do I mean? I am so, like, the biggest thing in my life right now is just like, God, like, when is it my turn? When is it my time? I feel like I'm gonna die, before it's my turn to be, big cat and make money and buy my friends' houses and take care of my mama. Like, it's never gonna come. So it makes me say, okay, wait a minute. Now, I was fearful of being a wife and mother. I just thought that was the worst thing. And now it's the most beautiful thing God could ever give me. So if I'm fearful that's never going to come, that must be down the pipeline. So how is the fear being manifested in my life with what I am doing? I'm lazy. I don't be wanting to film and record because I'm like, for what? It ain't gonna happen. It's gonna look. So maybe it's just too deep. Am I being too deep on this Monday? Maybe y'all done got too deep into it. I'm sharing with y'all so you could go back in your life and say, okay, what's the thing that I fear the most? What's the thing that just got a grip around my neck? How was the enemy able to manifest the obstacles in my life to make that like the thing, whatever your thing is? And then what's the opposite of that? Or the opposite of that is that I am going to be, financially successful. I am going to be able to bless a lot of people. I am going to be able to make a living off of my gifts and talents. So how is it manifesting in my actions? How am I contributing to the thing that I say I fear the most? Woo-hoo! And for me, it was going to get a job. A regular job that killed me off every day. Every day I woke up, I was like, oh, I hate this job. Call my best friend, I hate this job. Tell my husband, I hate this job. Stay at the job. Until I realized, girl, you contributing to your fear, which is you're going to die broke and poor and with nothing in this apartment. Like my son told me, like, I'm going to buy you a house. And I was like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I'm going to buy me a house. So, and I had to explain him with him because my baby was just trying to be sweet. But the point is, you guys, there's so much spiritual levels at play that some people are watching this and it's just going over your head. You might think I'm crazy, and I'm okay with that. Some people are watching this and your mind blown like that meme where that man was like. Some people watching this and like, oh, her eyebrows is cute. Some people saying both. No offense. But I just want to encourage you, take the time to slow down. Take the time to humble yourself. Not for the sake of like picking a religion, but just understanding there are things at play outside yourself. It was so hard for me to quit my job on Thursday last week. I sat at the computer and my heart was beating out of my chest. Big old bad wolf, Cat Branchman, because I didn't want to let down the people that gave me the job. Even the girl who referred me, I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is the worst thing you could do to somebody who got you a job. Seeing what's on the other side of that, which is the thing, y'all, I don't even want to. I can't even tell you all the things that happened when I got off that live and how God blessed me. But I get scared when I think about people watching this who also have, oh, thank you, people who have a big leap of faith to make too. I jump off cliffs because I'm just crazy. I'm just crazy. But there are some people who are more calculated than me, more mature than me, more logical than me. That's like, I can't do it. And I just want you to know, I know what that anxiety feels like. I know what this feels like, but I also know what's on the other side of it. So I encourage you to, could it be that your role in life is to push our kids instead, knowing what you know and passing that to your kids? I agree. But I also agree that my role is multifaceted because our God is multifaceted. And if we're made in his image, then I don't have a doubt in my mind that I can do multiple things, like be an amazing mom, an amazing teacher, an amazing wife in due season. Oh, come on. Because we missed that part. In due season. Like everything has a season, a time, and a place. Well, tell me what to do then. Gates, you yelling. I can hear you. Okay, so what do you do? So here's the thing. Here's a great place to start. This is hard because you could take my words and manipulate them, but I think you're smart enough. Not you, Gates, but just anybody. Here's what you do. What's the fear? Let's just get into it. I wish there was somebody who was ready to go live with me, but what is the fear? Like, okay, for me it was, Kat, if I quit this job, what if some bill comes along, some big emergency, and now you don't quit the job and you ain't got the money to finance or take care of it? So that idea I said out loud to my husband, and he did not care because he was like, "Girl, I'm so tired of you talking about this." But I just use him. I could talk to myself, but I use him as a body, right? So the fear was, if I quit this job, what if something happens, like the transmission blows up, and now we ain't got no, right? So when I was in the shower praying, like, God, I can't quit this job because, like, what if I need money for something? And God was like, oh, that's crazy because for the last 3 years, you didn't have no job. And I brought you not only money, but people and resource that took care of everything. Your baby got everything on that registry. You didn't pay for a thing. Your husband been working, been paying your rent. With shoes on your feet and food in the cabinet. The transmission, he learned how to change the oil. He learned how to change spark plugs. He learned how to change tires. Like, what are you talking about? And I was in the shower like, well, God, okay, yeah, you had like supported us. Like, I get it, like through faith and stuff for 3 years and stuff, but like I get that. But my study clearly not showing up. Girl, let's do it. So you can tell me exactly what the fear is. But that was my fear. And God was like, but I handled all that. And so I was like, God, I just can't do it. And God looked at me and said, like, and I didn't want to say this out loud, but I'm just going to tell y'all. He was like, okay, well, you working there with that baby, being stressed out, is what's on the other side of not having faith. Not trusting me, okay? You don't want to trust because there's trust and faith, and there's the other side. The other side is what you're dealing with. So keep your stress. I am that I am. So you seen that me when the girl was in the back like this? That's how I was. I was so hurt by that. I didn't tell my husband or my best friend for days. I was so embarrassed. That's how I know I'm not talking to myself. I wouldn't tell myself no mess like that. God was like, that's what's on the other side. I'm not, look, baby, you ain't gotta have faith in me. I'm God. That don't hurt my feelings. Just know what you're experiencing is on the other side of it. So you don't get to be stressed out and upset and scared and say you have faith in me. No, you don't. Because if you did, you would quit that job. So I just couldn't take it no more. I jumped up the cliff and I quit. Just being honest with y'all. You let me know when you're ready, Gates. But yeah, so I'm just sharing that with y'all because I feel like, and whoever watching this, like this word is for y'all, like for real. Because there's some stuff I feel like I can't say to like a lot people. They'll twist my words or they'll stop me on one part and they'll have me they'll just misinterpret what I'm saying. But clearly there's some people in the spirit that this is hidden. So amen. So I just what's the fear? What is the fear? I even used to think if I say the fear out loud, the devil gonna know. So I ain't gonna say it out loud. What's the fear, y'all? Kat, my fear is I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life, and I'm a good woman, and I be seeing these girls over here with men, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? That's the fear. Say it. Say it. I know people be looking at me like, oh, I did nobody but the devil. My iPad on 5%. I know people be looking at me like, Kat, you got a man and you got kids. What more could you want? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You ain't seen the fine print in my files. Yes, I have an amazing husband. He is a black unicorn. I don't even make Lance Branchman models no more. So I know that, and I kill you over here. So we ain't gonna get on that. My kids are healthy, but they get on my damn nerve and they don't listen. My son don't wear no shoes. His feet be black. Okay, listen, I got problems. But there's some other stuff behind the scenes that y'all don't know that my heart is aching for. I so did this too. Can't speak it out loud. Child, let me get Gates real quick for this. There she go. So anyway, this live went all over the place. I was on here to give a little advice. Oh, come on, rap. What's up?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh.
What's up, girl?
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey, everybody. I'm good. How are you?
Girl, I'm up here doing child with these kids, not trying to let them. Oh, here we go. We got a charger. Look at the Holy Spirit. Okay, girl. So you said, hold on, trust. There we go. Hold on. All right, there we go. So you said that we said, what should I do? So tell me, do you know the fear? What's your fear?
I don't know. I guess it's like similar to kind of what you were saying, that whole thing of like, what's gonna happen if this doesn't happen? And I don't even know if I'm in the stage of like the beginning part of that. I think I'm like in the middle, because I was working for LAUSD in January, and I feel like it. Backstory: I was working at LAUSD, and I had got basically offered by an old professor to come and plan a symposium at Dominguez. And to come moderate this symposium. He wanted me to be on the team, but I'm like, he's like, oh, come to the meeting at 10 a.m. I'm like, I gotta go to work. And he was like, just take a long lunch. And I'm like, I ain't taking no long, no, I'm not going or whatever. So, but I love this professor, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make it work. I had went, my godmother did a seminar or something that Saturday before, and I sat there and God was like, or the thought came, well, what if you left the district and you just didn't work for the district anymore? And I'm like, okay, in December, which is now, but this is January, so I'm like, in December, cool, we can leave. I go to work that next day, mind you, this Tuesday is when the meeting is for the symposium. I go to work that next day, and I'm thinking the whole day, how am I going to tell my supervisor that I need to take this long lunch? Like, I'm not going to have a doctor's note. I don't know. Girl, at the end of that day, they suspended me.
Wow.
They suspended me. And I sat in that meeting, and just at the end of the day, so all day I've been worried about it. Maybe around like 2, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the long lunch, and I'm just come back when I come back. They suspended me after I had said okay and sat with that. They suspended me, and I sat in the meeting, and they were like, okay, so yeah, we'll basically have you go to the board of directors, which is in that was in January. The next meeting will be in March. So I'm like, okay. And in my head, the first thing was, I get to go to the meeting now tomorrow because I don't have to come to work. But the Saturday before, the thought came, what if you don't work in the district? And then the pandemic hit. So the meeting with the board of directors never happened.
Wow.
So like, from what you're saying, I didn't get to make the decision. I think God was just like, you're moving too slow, so here you go. So I had left, I had been suspended. Then the pandemic hit. The meeting with the board of directors never happened. So I was like, you didn't want me to be here. But that Saturday before, you had put the thought in my head, what if you leave the district, and have prepared me 2 days later? And I'm saying now, I was going to leave. I was supposed to leave like this now, around this time, like Christmas break. I'm like, I'm out. I'm going to just, get my stuff together, whatever. But I think I'm more in this space of like, okay, you've pushed me out. Now I'm not holding on to anything. There's nothing to hold on to. So it's like, what's the step?
Well, first, thank you for sharing, because I think one of the most important steps that I always skip steps, child, because I be just moving so fast. God will always give you the pattern or the outline. I'm thinking in terms of sewing, but he'll always give you like the infrastructure. And I think it's really important that you mention, like, he gave you the hooked on phonics. Like, I'm gonna give you the thought, I'm gonna throw it out there. Okay, all right. You ain't clean the kitchen. Okay, I'm gonna leave the bleach on the counter. Right. Okay, now come on. That, like, he does that with us, where he doesn't expect us. I'm almost done. Where he does. Who is that? Okay. Can you bring her to me if you need to? Do you need to bring her to me?
No.
Okay, go away. Okay. I'm ministering. Okay. Child, kids. Okay. So he will always do that with you, where he'll like do the tit for tat with you, because I really believe he know we ain't right. Okay. So he took his time to give it to you, because it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again with a deal, with a person, with something where he's gonna give you the prompting, and then you're gonna have to say, all right, I'm gonna just move on it. And I think one of the things that I have not been able to do consistently is look back and be like, you know what, God, I remember when you did this, and I know how you move, and you're telling me to do this. I'm gonna trust you. Because even if I get it wrong, you're gracious enough as my father to come through mercifully and fix it. And so, I know the Bible talks about how um the Israelites, when God would do something, they would build a stone type of statue or something to remember what God did in that land, in that place. And so I think that he does that with us metaphorically, with things in our life where it's like, remember that time I came through? Remember that? Yeah, man. Remember that surgery scar? I saved you, and they said you died 4 times on the table. That was your boy. So I think that's really, really important. So there's that. The other thing is with you saying like, what's the next step is like, I don't know if you oh girl, yeah, you be traveling. Okay, this is good. So you know how in different regions, like different seasons kind of look different. So like you can go I think like Jamaica or something, their summer is like our fall or something, or winter or something. So I really believe that if the earth is like a great representation of like our spiritual life, and I believe that for some people it's like that. So right now where you're like, okay, what's next? There is this eagerness for the next step, and God's like, cool, that's great, that's cool, hold on to it, because there's even a level of faith you have to maintain in the quiet. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to harvest right now. What is it, spring? Maybe it's spring when stuff starts popping up in spring. Maybe summer, I don't know. I've been trying to equate it, but it's really quiet. The ocean is calm right now, is low key, and sometimes for people who are doers, that's the hardest season for us. Your eye be twitching, and you like, now come on, because I got the energy.
And you know what? So I was just talking to somebody, because before the pandemic, I was coaching and I was working. So I would get up, leave the house around 6, and then go work, at the school or whatever school, and then I would go coach. And if it was just practice, I maybe would get home around 7 if we had a game, and if it was a home game, especially, we would have to sit down and do all that. So I wasn't getting home till like 9. But in the pandemic, I'm like, it ain't nowhere to go. It ain't nothing to do. I don't have to wake up. I tutor, so I only got to be up 5 minutes before it's time to tutor. Like, that's it. But it's interesting that you say that, because I had to stop telling myself, like, stop feeling guilty. Like, it's a pandemic. Like, you can't even coach if you wanted to. You can't even go to a place of work in your field if you wanted to. Like, so just kind of chill. So it's interesting that you said, like, us as doers, especially in this season, it's like, you can feel guilty. Like, I'm not being productive. And it's like, well, there's nothing in that. You having to get up to go in your car, there's nowhere to go. So you have to be like productive in another way. If that like makes sense.
It does. In fact, I used to get mad at that Martha Mary story. It took me years to let go of that, because I used to be like, I don't understand what Jesus. Why the girl was trying to clean up? Okay, she was trying to get ready for you, and now you going on them. I used to be so mad because I identify with Martha, right? A doer, like I was trying to help you out, spick and span. But I think, okay, so I'm gonna give you this. All right, if it fall on you, let it fall on you. I really believe that people like you and I, my best friend that's watching, some of our biggest shifts that come, God sends to us when we had little to no type of influence on the opportunity. Like, when things happen for us, that's like the blessing or breakthrough. For me, from what I can remember, it always comes and it just falls in my lap. It wasn't because I filled out an application. It wasn't because I was at the coffee shop, but the man behind me was like, hey, you got a good voice. And I was like, for real? And he was like, you're going to be a star. Because in my mind, that's how it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And so when I think back to things that have happened, I'm like, I was chilling and they was like, hey, Kat, you want to come here? And I was like, I don't know. I'm going to go get some gas. Like, and I went to the gas station, and all of a sudden this man, you know what I'm saying? And it's because for people like us who are doers, who have the big magical faith for the big stuff, but the little stuff is like, man, that's not God. It's not big enough. He works in our deficit, which is what's in the Bible. In our brokenness and our weakness, he is made whole, because we have to like incorporate that into our life. So I just encourage you that probably in the still quiet, small times in your life where the water is calm and not a lot is going on, the breakthrough comes. And like my friend said, because it's hard, because we're overthinkers. Girl, we will think of 15 different ways it could happen, what we should say, Let me make sure I get you together because I know I can't say nothing later on. So let me give you. We do that. So God, because He's so much bigger than us, is like, I know this nut.
Right.
Let me go ahead and wait till she quiet. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it when she got a cold, so she can't give nobody the glory but me. So I appreciate you though, like being candid, because social media will have you thinking that if you're young, you should be going, pushing. They don't even talk to the old people, because old people for them is 27 and up. If you're 27 and up, your life over. You be like, damn.
Right.
But if you're 23, 24, it's like you still got some life in you. You should be doing this. And our God is multifaceted. So I think for you, like your next step is literally like take out even the. I think for you, He's breaking down the idea of the fact that it's the next step. Like they're like He's changing the, like it ain't even like you're thinking next step like a pathway. What if He's building something? I have just like this building in my mind. I think of you, which is like it's infrastructure, which is architecture. And for you, when I look at you like spiritually, I feel like there's scaffolding up, and like what do you call it? Like the steel beams is up, and like in this transition is all of the like the soft stuff that has to go up, wiring and the girl. I don't know because I don't build, but the soft stuff sometimes is insignificant to people like us because we like, where the cranes at? Give me the hammer. And God's like, go ahead, girl.
What I was gonna say is that in this season of being less productive in the way that society has deemed it, I've been more productive in like my worship life. And that's like the soft thing that I think like you're speaking about is that,
come on,
I've just been, I think from March to probably about October, it was just gospel music, any form of worship. And I was telling people like I was in this point of like a transition essentially, and I talked about it earlier about the relationship. I had ended a 2.5 year long relationship with a man that was great in August. But after being in that season, just being like, okay, I don't know what it is. And it wasn't like I'm like, Jazz, wake up and just play worship music. It was like I would play something else and I'm like, no, I'm not here, doesn't want to hear that right now. But I would just stay. So I feel like that has been where the productivity has like came, is in the worship essentially. And worship is such like a soft thing. Like they like bring the walls down, go and preach to whatever. But it's like worship is so intimate with God.
Yes, that's a perfect word.
It's like I feel like when you said that, that's because I was thinking about it before when I was like, I haven't been productive, but like my walk with God, and I'm this generation coach.
Yeah.
So I grew up, and I just posted something today, like on my mom's wall. It says like, it's like 3 different things. In this house we gonna serve the Lord, and it's another picture of you. In this house we gonna serve the Lord. And I'm like, if y'all didn't know what we was doing, we was serving the Lord.
Right.
We was growing up, but you can grow up in something and be in something for 20-something years and still not know. And still, I can, if I wanted to preach right now, because I've been around it for so long, throw an organ on and I can go preach because I've learned the trait. But like, do you know God?
Come on, oh, shut up. Come on, because girl, we gonna have to get back on live for the hour, because when I tell you it's that part right there, it is that part right there. You need to bring it to me. That's fine. Is that do you know Him for you? Because my mama know Him as a way maker, right? But I just met Him as a provider, and I didn't know He be going in like that. I'm like, Lord, I don't know you be providing, child. She said, who doing what? Like, and oh my God, Jasmine, we need to have a whole revival around that. We know Him. We know the God of, when they say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We know the God of grandma, mama, and Medea. But the God of us, this is somebody different. This is something different. He doing something different. And I think
they didn't tell you about the intricate moments with God. And that's the thing where it's like, I grew up as, even in my daily thinking, if something went wrong, I'm so churchy that it was, oh God, I disappointed you in something. And that's something that messes with your mind. That if you did not get something that you asked for, you didn't get the job, or you didn't get that good grade, or the scholarship or something, because playing basketball, that's what it was. It was,
oh Lord. Look. Hold up. Wait, 1 second. It's at 59 minutes. I'm gonna end it. And can you come back?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna come right back. Okay. What's wrong? Oh, okay. Oh, I think I need to feed you. Oh, I'm about to pull out my boob. Bye, guys. I gotta feed the baby. Okay.